Hi everyone, this video will explain how the viruses invade cells. Why are there multiple COVID-19 vaccines existing? And the difference between COVID-19 traditional vaccines from mRNA vaccines. First is, what is a virus and how does it invade cells?
Viruses are microscopic biological agents that invade living hosts and infect their bodies by reproducing within their cell tissue. It is typically consists of nucleic acid molecule in a protein coat. Viruses are ideal parasitic hosts. For decades, scientists have known that once a virus enters a cell, it hijacks biological processes to make virally encoded protein that replicates the virus genetic material. Viral processes can move proteins and genetic material out of the cell and assemble them into new virus particles. Viruses use unique processes to sneak inside cells and infect them. It is according to recent research. A virus tiny particle known as a virion is significantly simpler than a bacterium structure. Whether or not a virus is living has long been a point of contention. It's not quite living in the traditional sense. Virions are made up of DNA and RNA that is encased in a protein covering. Viruses bind to cell membranes by interactions that are unrelated to fusion proteins at first. The virus travels along the cell's fluid surface, finally binding to receptor molecules in the cell membrane with its viral fusion proteins.
Viral entry pathways. Viruses can fuse to the plasma membrane either directly, receptor-mediated fusion, or after being ingested into an endosome. The viral path determines which of these paths is taken. The virus binds to a protein in the cell membrane after fusion with the plasma membrane. The role of this cellular protein, a virus receptor represented in green, is altered in order to cause a conformational change in the viral fusion protein which result in fusion when a virus is triggered within an endosome. The acidic conditions inside the endosome cause fusion. In either situational, the viral DNA enters the cytosol through a fusion pore and infections begin. A virus has entered a cell, it can use the cell to replicate itself. The virus is able to do this because viruses and cells share a crucial feature. They both use DNA and RNA. DNA and RNA are instructions in the form of molecules. Viruses deceive cells into following their DNA and RNA instructions by transporting the cells into the following them. The cells follow the virus instructions and produce all of the virus components. For virus parts, cells even utilize their own tools and primitive martial arts inside the cell. New copies of viruses can be produced. The new virus particles eventually exit the cell, destroying it. These new viruses then move on to infect the other cells.
Now the second question is, why are there multiple COVID-19 vaccines existing?
As of December 2020, there are over 200 vaccine candidates for COVID-19 being developed. At least 52 vaccine candidates are in human trials. Why are there multiple COVID-19 vaccines existing? Typically, many vaccines candidates will be evaluated before any are found to be safe and effective. For example, all of the vaccines that are studied in the lab and laboratory animals, roughly 7 out of 100, will be considered good enough to be moved into clinical trials in humans. The vaccines that do make to clinical trials, just 1 in 5 is successful. Having lots of different vaccines in development increases the chances that there will be more successful vaccines. It will be shown to be safe and efficacious for the intended prioritized populations. Dozens of countries have now rolled out mass vaccination campaigns using a variety of vaccines. Knowing this, it makes sense to question why more than one or two vaccine formulas are necessary. No one pharmaceutical or biotechnology company would be able to produce enough product and distribute it to the entire global population fast enough to curb the pandemic. Producing more than one vaccine also means that manufacturing delays become less risky. With the world relying on multiple companies to produce the life-saving products, delivery delays of one vaccine can be offset by the production of the other vaccines. Therefore, we will need multiple vaccines to stop the pandemic. Like I mentioned a while ago that there are over 200 vaccine candidates, but we only have 7 vaccines approved by the World Health Organization.
So here are the list of all vaccines approved by WHO or World Health Organization. The first is the AstraZeneca or Oxford vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, the Moderna, Pfizer or BioNTech, Sinopharm, Sinovac, and the last is the Covaxin.
Why there is an age limit for vaccinations?
The COVID-19 vaccines are safe for most people 18 years old and older, including those with pre-existing conditions of any kind. Children tend to have milder disease compared to adults. A vaccine is now available for children aged 5 to 12 years old. A vaccine has been available for children and adolescents aged 12. Vaccines for children aged 6 months and up may be authorized next. Clinical trials are underway for children aged 6 months to under 5 years old.
So now, let's interview someone about vaccination. Good morning, ma'am. I am Kyra May Baroy, student nurse, and I'm going to ask you about vaccination. Are you already got vaccinated?
From now on, I am fully vaccinated.
Oh, great! How are you feeling today?
I feel good and healthy.
See, you can use any of the vaccines to help you achieve better protection. So use what's available and just go with that. The most important thing is to get your vaccine doses.
Now, what is the difference between COVID-19 traditional vaccines from mRNA vaccines?
A coronavirus disease 2019 vaccine can prevent you from getting COVID-19 or from becoming seriously ill or dying due to COVID-19. But how do different types of COVID-19 vaccines work? Each COVID-19 vaccine causes the immune system to create antibodies to fight COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines use a harmless version of a spike-like structure on the surface of the COVID-19 virus called an aspartame. The main types of COVID-19 vaccines currently available in the US or being studied include messenger RNA or mRNA vaccine. This type of vaccine uses a genetically engineered mRNA to give your cells instructions for how to make the aspartame found on the surface of the COVID-19 virus. After vaccination, your immune cells begin making the aspartame pieces and displaying them on cell surfaces. This causes your body to create antibodies. If you later become infected with the COVID-19 virus, these antibodies will fight the virus.
The difference between mRNA vaccine and traditional vaccine. Traditional vaccines. Traditional vaccines work by helping your body develop antibodies, allowing you to fight off infection. There are four main types. First, live attenuated vaccines. Live attenuated vaccines are highly effective. In fact, just 1 or 2 doses can give you long-term immunity. Second, inactive vaccines. Inactive vaccines use a version of a virus germ that is no longer alive. Like live vaccines, they trigger your body to produce antibodies. Third, subunit, recombinant, polysaccharide, and conjugate for vaccines. This type of vaccine uses specific pieces of a virus, its protein or sugar, to spark your immune response. Like inactive vaccines, you may need a booster shot from time to time. A major benefits in this type of vaccine can be given to almost anyone who needs it. This includes people with chronic health concerns or weakened immune systems. Last, toxoid vaccines. Toxoid vaccines use a small amount of toxin made by the germ that create disease. They build immunity to the part of the germ causing your body a problem. As with other types of vaccines, you may need booster shots for continued protection. mRNA vaccines. mRNA vaccines are exciting advancements in gene-based research. They work differently than traditional vaccinations. Rather than introducing a virus to your system, messenger ribonucleic acid or mRNA works with the cells that make proteins in your body. The mRNA teaches those cells how to make a specific protein to create an immune response against a particular sickness such as COVID-19. A few quick about mRNA vaccines. mRNA vaccines are highly effective and fast to develop compared to traditional vaccines, which can take months or years. mRNA technology has been researched for more than 10 years. It is even being studied for the treatment of widespread disease like Zika virus, rabies, the flu, and cancer. This new vaccines has already given the world hope in halting COVID-19 pandemic.